Hi and welcome to the Resources Roadhouse. I'm Wally Graham, and today I'm speaking with Rob Holm, who's a senior consultant with CSA Global. Now, Rob, CSA Global is a different sort of a company that we normally speak to here at the Roadhouse, but you're no less important than anybody else. In fact, you're probably more important than anybody else. Now, CSA Global, here's me putting it in a nutshell. A company, once they make a small discovery, then they call in somebody like a mining consultant like CSA Global to help them develop that small discovery into a bigger discovery and take that bigger discovery further on into a development into a mine. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, absolutely, Wally. So effectively, CSA Global, we have the expertise in-house to provide assistance through the whole mining life. So anytime from exploration right through to mining operations. So if a company doesn't quite have the expertise in-house to do it, we can fill in any gaps that there are. Yep.
All right, and that's not saying companies don't have expertise, because obviously they've got expertise in their own areas, but the expertise that CSA Global can offer is quite specific.
Yeah, exactly. So often we just provide a new point of view on some work, or and basically an independent review, just to give people another look to see if their ideas might be on the right track, or if there might be a different way of thinking that they could look at.
Yeah, all right then. Now, well, let's have a look now at the recent Explorers Conference, the ROU Explorers Conference in Fremantle. You gave a presentation on CSA Global's work with Staveley Minerals over at their project over in Victoria. Could you just give us a brief outline about how CSA Global has assisted Staveley Minerals in getting that particular project to where it is now?
Yeah, so Staveley have a really exciting discovery in the Cayley lode as part of the Staveley project in Western Victoria. So they're working on a resource drill out at the moment. So what I've been working with them is to help their understanding of the deposit, sort of how the deposit might have formed, and through that, how they might explore to find extensions to it or repetitions in the area. So my expertise is in structural geology. So I've really been helping them sort of put a wider context on the project. So essentially the first work that I've done with them is looking at just the project scale drill hole results, and especially the structural logging, and really trying to piece that together from the deposit scale right through to the regional scale to get an understanding of the wider system.
All right, so what sort of tools do you use? I mean, I've been to a few of these presentations myself, and I've spoken to different companies, and they show me their releases and they show me all their reports and things like that. And as a person with my limited expertise in the area, all I see is a lot of pretty colours, a lot of different sorts of, well, you don't see rocks, you see some quite modern art, to tell you the truth. So what sort of tools are these that you're using and what are they telling you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so especially in the world of COVID at the moment, we're doing a lot of more office-based work rather than field work. So a lot of we use different pieces of software for different jobs. So in particular with Staveley, I've been using Leapfrog Geo a lot. So that allows us to visualize the data that we have in 3 dimensions and look at things spatially, how things might actually pull together. So it's really important to look at things from the rocks. We get the information from the rocks, but it can be difficult to draw that information together, especially if you're looking at sort of isolated drill holes, things like that. So the more 3D spatial view we can get to it, the easier it often is to relate these in space and make a bigger picture out of the individual pieces of data.
So once you put these individual pieces of data together, the companies then take them away, and do they use them as a way of generating new drill targets, new areas of other exploration activity? Does it sort of add a piece of finesse to the whole system?
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea is that we can bring together all of the different data that exists. So in this case, I was looking in particular at structural data, but bring it together with lithology, alteration, geochemistry, all of the different data that you can gain from drilling and surface outcrops where they exist, and also more regional data sets such as geophysics as well. So yeah, when we bring all of these together, we can really sort of join them together, integrate them, get an understanding of the system. And yeah, from that, we can look to plan the exploration and move the project on from that point.
Well, yeah, obviously, with the success that Staveley Minerals has had at their Staveley project, you must have, you've been extremely helpful for them. You've managed to kick a few goals there.
Yeah, I'm relatively new on the project, so I've been with the project for a year or so. So they actually discovered the Cayley lode in 2019 before I joined on the project, so I can't take too much credit.
Don't be modest, Rob. Don't be modest. Come on. You've been there pushing the buttons on the computer. You've been helping out.
Hopefully, there'll be a few more discoveries to come.
Yeah, and obviously you're working on those, and you probably can't tell us too much about that at the moment. Besides Staveley Minerals, any other projects that you've sort of dipped your toe in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the industry itself is really booming right now. So there's a lot of different projects that I'm working on all around the world. So projects West Africa through Indonesia, different parts of Australia. So I'm in North Africa, all over the place at the moment.
Yeah, you were alluding to the COVID situation earlier on. Has that made life any more difficult, or maybe a touch easier for people such as yourself, or companies such as CSA Global? You able to gather the data at the best, so to speak, and do all the work there, or has it sort of limited your capabilities?
Yeah, absolutely. In both cases. So often there is a lot of field trips involved and a lot of travel. So obviously the international projects are out of bounds, and a lot of those have just been sort of put on hold for now. So some of them we were expecting field work, so that's been delayed by over a year now. But in WA, we are lucky that we can still travel. So yeah, I'm probably actually heading off to a drilling program next week.
All right. Well, and so it really hasn't slowed things down too much. I've spoken to different people in different parts of the industry, such as yours, and then there's assayers and people in labs and such, and they're just saying that they're inundated with work at the moment because there's so much coming in, and they're limited, with how much they can actually get out. Now everybody's knocking on the door saying, "Where's my results?" But it's a lot harder. Is that the same with you guys?
Yeah, absolutely. So there is a lot of work on at the moment. It did start out early on with companies generally doing things that they've been putting off. So going back and looking at their databases, looking at what sort of extra value they can gain from the information that they already have. But yeah, at the same time now, there's a lot of companies just moving their projects forward. There's a lot of money in the market at the moment.
All right. Interesting. So when you're sort of presenting at a conference such as like the Explorers Conference, do you find the punters in the room, are they across the information that you can give? Are they interested in that, or are they sort of are they out chasing their investment dollar and where to put it? Are they taking the time to understand what you're saying and using that as like they should be using your tools as a tool when it comes to putting together their investment strategies?
That's actually really interesting, because working with structural geology, that's often one of the harder sort of concepts or information streams to get across and really sort of communicate effectively so people understand it. So what I was doing at RIU was more sort of discussing the processes that we go through, the value that we can get out of it, and how we can actually sort of simplify the process a bit and make it more accessible. And actually, one of the investors came up to me afterwards and said, he's never understood this before. And he actually sort of sees the value in this extra work now, which was really interesting.
I think that's interesting. I think there are more people like that particular investor who are, starting to take the time to educate themselves a little bit more about, the industry and how it works. It's not all just about a company with an MD, and maybe that MD's a well-known MD and has worked in a lot of companies. That's all well and good, but they've got to have the rocks in the ground, and they've got to have the wherewithal on how to go and find them.
Yeah, absolutely. As exploration gets harder, as mineral deposits get deeper and undercover, it's really that scientific understanding of the processes involved that are really going to lead to the new discoveries.
All right. Well, okay, Rob. Well, thanks very much for dropping into the Roadhouse today. As I said, just dipping the toe in the water there, just to sort of find out what CSA Global is all about. I think we're sort of onto something here. We might have to discuss further, more targeted conversations, so that we can really come to grips with what it is that you guys are doing over there. But until we can get to that stage, it's been great to have you here, and we look forward to speaking to you again very soon.
Yeah, great. Thanks for having me, Wally.